Hey there, what's going on, guys? My name is Sergio Guerrero. I run Neutral Corner MMA. You can find me on Instagram at MMA Neutral, and you can also find me at Twitter at MMA Neutral. Um, I am a basic MMA fan, no different than you and I, or no different than anybody else that you know that watches MMA. All my purpose here is my purpose here is to express to you guys how much I love MMA and how much by doing that I'm going to talk about UFC 238. UFC 238 happening in Chicago, Illinois, Saturday, June 8th, inside of the United Center. Henry Cejudo, Marlon Moraes, the main event, the co-main event, Valentina Shevchenko versus Jessica Ai. There are some more fights. I'm going to pinpoint some specific fights that I feel is more interesting to me as the fan. What I feel is going to be a statement in each of their own divisions. So let me go ahead and cut straight to that. Again, my name is Sergio Guerrero from MMA Neutral, and this will be the UFC 238 Interest podcast. First fight I want to talk about, basically, Tatiana Suarez versus Nina Ansaroff in the UFC Women's Strawweight division. Tatiana Suarez 7-0 takes on Nina Ansaroff, who is 10-5. Tatiana Suarez, the younger fighter, at 28. Ansaroff, 33 years of age. Suarez comes in with a 3-inch reach advantage at 67 inches, when Ansaroff only has 64. Tatiana Suarez is a very dangerous fighter on both ends of the spectrum when it comes to MMA. She's good on the ground, she's good at standing, so she's very dangerous in that sense. Ansaroff, though, a very challenging fighter. She challenges whomever she comes across. She never fails. She never quits, even when she does lose. So for those reasons alone, I think this fight is pretty interesting to me. Tatiana Suarez coming off back-to-back wins. First one was against a Mexicanazo. She won the first round via submission, and she also defeated Carla Esparza, a third-round knockout. So, again, like I said, she's good on the ground, she's good on her feet, dangerous fighter. Nina Ansaroff, of course, the girlfriend of the double champ, Amanda Nunes, as I like to call it, the legend killer. She's the girlfriend of her, and again, Ansaroff coming off back-to-back wins as well. She's beat Claudia Gadela via decision, and she's also beat Randa Marcos. So two tough fighters, two back-to-back wins. This is why this fight to me is a lot more interesting than some of the fights on this card. The winner of this fight has a great chance of getting a title shot. But like I said, these girls are going to go at it regardless of who's across the cage. So that's my first interesting fight of the night for UFC 238. Let me know if you feel like that's something to look forward to in the comment section below. Another fight that I wanted to talk about in the bantamweight division is Aljamain Sterling, who was 17-3, taking on Pedro Munoz, who was 18-3 with one no contest. Sterling, 29 years of age. Munoz is 32. But Munoz takes on Aljamain Sterling, and Pedro is coming off of a KO win against Cody Garbrandt, which to most people honestly came as a surprise just because of how popular Cody Garbrandt is, especially after beating TJ Dillashaw. But this all happened at UFC 235 this past March. Pedro beat Cody. It was a first round knockout. It was a very entertaining fight for how short of a fight it was. Munoz really solidified his mark in the bantamweight division with that knockout win against Cody. So after that, he put the bantamweight on notice. He wanted to say, this is who I am, this is what I can do. So he's done that. He's done that specifically. He's on a 3-fight win streak. Like I said, he just beat Cody. He's also beat Brett Johns and Brian Caraway. 3 straight fights, 3 straight wins, which is always a good sign that a fighter is on the way up, and for a title shot specifically. But The guy across the cage that Pedro is going to be looking at that night is nobody to bow down to. Or I should say nobody to lay flat on. It's Aljamain Sterling. The things that I've said about Pedro being dangerous and this and that and being strong, I can honestly say the same thing for Aljamain Sterling. He's on. He's not only. He's not on a 3-fight win streak. He's on a 5-fight win streak. 4 of those fights came in the division he's fighting in that night, the bantamweight division, and the other fight was a catchweight fight. But again, 5 fights, 5 wins. These are the types of fights people want to see. The fights where the guys are on a roll, they're trying to get a title shot, they're trying to putting everything out on the line so that they can get that one shot to be a UFC champion. This fight is going to be a hell of a fight. Mark my words when I say that. Both men are going to go at it. Aljamain has only one loss since 2017. That's the only thing. And guess who that loss comes from? Yeah, that loss comes from Brazil's very own Marlon Moraes, who is facing Henry Cejudo, who was 14-2 at UFC 238. They are headlining this card. This is going to be the next fight that I'm going to be talking about, just because of the magnitude of this fight. Both men coming around the same age. Henry Cejudo is 2 years older, 32. Marlon Moraes is 30. Marlon Moraes' record is 12-5, of course. But both men have really made a name for themselves. For me, this title shot for Marlon Moraes is past due. This is definitely going to be a great shot for him to finally prove that he can be a UFC champion. He's also, just like Aljamain Sterling, he is also on a 5-fight win streak. One of those fights being Aljamain Sterling, of course. He's beaten Jimmy Rivera via submission in June of last year, and has really been, and has also beat Rafael Sansal via guillotine choke in round 1. So he's really been consistent when it comes to fighting. He not only gives us the good fights that we want to watch, but he's so technical at everything that he does. He moves so good for a bantamweight. He's so fluent with his movements, his striking ability, his ground game. So I can say the same thing for Henry Cejudo. Both men are very they're specialists. They want to make sure that they know what they're doing, and they're getting the most knowledge out of what they're trying to learn in between their camps. So those are the things that I can say about Marlon Moraes. He's a very dangerous fighter, 5-fight win streak, can fight on the ground, fight on his feet. But Henry Cejudo, the guy that Marlon's going to be facing across the cage in that night, Henry Cejudo, the flyweight champ, pursuing to be the champ, as they say, he makes the move up to bantamweight for this fight, just so that he can get a title shot. And that is very respectful in the eyes of the MMA world. He just beat TJ Dillashaw via KO at UFC Fight Night 143 earlier this year. That was a very surprising fight for some people as well. Henry Cejudo really put his name on the block, especially after Demetrius Johnson win. He solidified himself as a star in the UFC. So these are the main reasons why I feel Marlon Moraes and Henry Cejudo is the fight to look forward to that night. Of course, it's self-explanatory just because they are in the main event. But those 3 fights right there, Tatiana Suarez versus Nina Ansaroff in the UFC Women's Strawweight division, Aljamain Sterling versus Pedro Munoz in the Bantamweight division, and of course Henry Cejudo versus Marlon Moraes in the UFC Bantamweight division as well. My name is Sergio Guerrero. I am from MMA Neutral Corner. You can follow me on Instagram at MMA Neutral. If you would like to come in contact with me, I will respond. On Twitter at MMA Neutral. Again, this is Sergio Guerrero signing out. And make sure you watch every single UFC card, especially